Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the premiere of Rich and Haas in 2026. How's everybody doing? We are Rich and Haas. I already know how cold you are. You're in your house and you got the beanie on. I was about to hop on the wagon and do the same thing.
Yeah, I had a Walmart delivery this morning, so I had to, it was like wind chill of 6. It wasn't that cold, but the wind chill was brutal, so I just haven't taken the beanie off yet. So it may come off before the end of the show. How about that?
It's 33 where I'm at, but later this evening we're gonna drop in the 20s. And when I wake up in the morning to go to a birthday party for my niece at 9:30 in the morning, 24 hours from now, it's gonna be 22 degrees when I'm gonna be driving. So
Wait, wait,
that's
wait. A
the they
birthday
can book
party at
it.
9 in the morning?
The fun jump place they booked it at. Thankfully it's indoors. I guess they were booked that whole day, or they're closing for the weather. I'm not. I haven't figured that out yet.
Wow. Okay. But yeah, we're gonna have a low of 23 here tomorrow. But the crazy part is by Monday we're gonna be back in the 60s again. 60s all next week. So,
Oh,
we had our
well,
little cold snap, and we'll probably have one more little one before the end of the winter, and then normal Central Texas stuff.
oh yeah, same here. Like running my water tonight and tomorrow night, and this week, and then later in the week, temperatures in the 50s and 60s in the highs. Lows might be in the 30s and the 40s still, but with at least the weather's going to be pretty for our Mardi Gras run. It won't be as cold. We have our Mardi Gras next weekend, and
Hmm.
I'm DJing, and I'm excited. And I got friends and family coming down from Tennessee and Ohio. I'm pumped up.
Nice. Yeah, my sister-in-law lives outside of Memphis, and she says she hadn't left the house in a week. They still have all their snow from that last storm out there. They got a bunch of that still there, and then they've got this next storm coming through that is hitting yesterday, today, and tomorrow. She
When
ain't
we had
going
our
anywhere for
little
a while.
when we had our little blizzard last year, I remember I didn't go to work for 2 days. Kids didn't go to school maybe 2 or 3 days when we had
Hmm.
that big old blizzard that hit us down here, and we had like record like 9, 10 inches of snow.
Yeah, see, we were the hole in the donut on that one. Dallas Fort Worth got hammered. You guys got hammered. Us in Central Texas, we got like a dusting, and it was, low mid 30s. We didn't really get a whole lot out of that thing, but that makes up for 2021 when we got, you know, just blitzed. We had ice and 8 inches of snow and no power for, I think it was 3 days, 3.5 days, something like that. Yeah, it was that
What we
was
had
that
in
was worse than
20
Pittsburgh.
what we had in 2021, we had snow and all that too. We had ice and everything. Roads were closed for a couple days, but the snow inch was not as big as the one from last year. Like where I lived at the time, I think we had maybe like 3 inches, 2 or 3 inches of snow, but it still looked like a winter wonderland. But last year was top shelf. Like we
Well,
looked like
here
we could have been in a Christmas movie, and it was in January.
here's one big thing that a lot of people fail to realize, and especially we've seen this around here the last week or two. Okay, driving on snow is possible if you take it easy. You know, if you can get in the tracks of an 18 wheeler or something like that, that's even better. That's okay. Driving on ice, just stay home. If you got ice, that's what we had here this past week. We had ice. We didn't have hardly any snow. We had maybe half an inch of snow. It was all ice, sleet and ice. Stay home. Keep your happy butt home.
The one
It
time in
just
my
doesn't
life,
make.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but
No,
like
you're good.
the
It
one
just doesn't make any sense.
exactly. And one time I tried to drive. I was going to my sister's house at the time where we used to live about 3 miles apart in the same town at the time, 3 miles apart. And no lie, it took me about 40, 45 minutes to go 3 miles on ice because it was scary. And I was probably driving maybe 5 or 10 miles, no more than 10 miles.
Yeah.
And
I don't
I've,
doubt.
I've watched countless hours of ice road truckers. I know what they go through. I don't want to go through that same thing.
Yeah, I mean, it is scary when you just have zero control. It even got to the point in 21. We still had a little bit of ice on the roads and that kind of stuff here. And my daughter actually, she was working for a chicken place here in the area, and they told her she had to come into work. And she started to head to work, and her car just wasn't going to have it. And she got to the end of the street, tried to make the turn, and ended up going straight across the street and bumping into the curb. So she called, called me and her mom. And I went out, I got in my truck and I got her and I took her to work. And I don't think I went more than 10 mile an hour the whole way there. And it took us like, shoot, I don't know, 30 minutes to go 4 miles. We made it,
Yeah,
but
you made it safe.
that ice is nothing. It's nothing to play with, man.
No,
At least if you're if you're in an area where you get this stuff all the time, then you get chains for your tires, which give you some traction. That's a little different discussion. But
you know what to expect. We don't know what to expect when it comes to icy roads or anything like that.
right, Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, all that kind of good stuff. Nah, you won't find a set of tire chains within 150 miles of anywhere around here.
Yeah. If they have chains out here, they're using it to pull stuff, not drive through it and make it sturdy.
Right, absolutely. But that's okay. It gives them, there's going to be a lot of folks that are going to be snowed in and have plenty of time to watch the Rumble this afternoon.
Oh yeah. One more thing before we get to the Rumble. Speaking of Dallas Fort Worth area, I plan on coming back there in 2027, within a year, because I'm gonna try and shoot for it. After they made the announcement, I've been seeing skeptical and rumors on social media. But of all the sporting events I've been to in my life, I've been to NFL games, NBA games, MLB games, MLS matchups, college football, college basketball, baseball, softball, you name it. Been to it all. Hopefully by February 2027, I'm going to go to my first NHL hockey game. I've been to minor league hockey games, but never an NHL game. And they just announced the Vegas Golden Knights and the Dallas Stars in the Stadium Series at AT&T Stadium. And I'm a Vegas fan, and here's my chance to go finally see them. And I get to see it in Jerry's world.
Nice. It is an entirely different outlook on hockey when you go live. You watch it on TV completely different after you've been to one NHL game. Because even going to minor league games have a lot of stuff to them, but they just don't move as fast. You can tell the difference between minor league guys and NHL guys in the quality and the speed and all that kind of stuff. You can tell why those guys are in the minors and they're not playing in the NHL. It's ridiculously fast, dude. I promise you. It's like roller derby.
Best part about this is even if I sit high up in the rafters, I won't have to worry about getting hit with a puck.
That would be true. That would be true. Yeah, you don't have to sweat that. Of course, now that if I remember, at least the NHL arenas. I don't know if the minor league arenas are doing it, but all the NHL arenas have those nets up now, so you can't get hit if you're in the stands.
Well, back in the 90s,
used to
back
be
in the 90s when I was going to ice skater games, oh no, we saw them pucks flying. I think one time I almost got hit by one. And
yeah, well, I remember, the guys, there would be an icing call or something, and the guys would flip a puck into the stands for the fans, just flip it up there for the guys, and you'd have slap shots on power plays and that would get deflected and go up into the stands and all that. Now they've got the netting up. So, but like I say, I don't know. I haven't been to a minor league game in years. I don't know if they do it in the minors too, or if they just do it in the NHL.
Back in the day, I know they didn't in minor league, but I know baseball, college, I think LSU put nets up, but they don't put them that far out. I think they just put them towards third baseline. They don't go all the way out like MLB did. because I remember that one time the Astros played the Yankees, and I forgot who it was that hit a foul ball, and it went in the crowd and it hit a little girl in the head, and she almost died. And that's when they almost tried to file a lawsuit on that, and that's when they were like, well, they were going to put nets all across the outfield and everything, and you got the platoon of pissed off people were like, oh, we weren't scared of balls back in the day. This what happened to this great sport, whatever. One kid gets hit, now they want to change the rules and everything. Like, it's just safety precautions. Like, I don't want to get hit with I don't want to go to a game and get hit with a baseball and then my life's over with or nearly over with.
Right. No, I agree with you 100%, but it goes back to that thing too, that a lot of people go to baseball games and don't pay attention to the game. They're doing all kind of other stuff. They're dinking around on their phone, or, they're sitting there talking to somebody and they're not paying attention to what's going on. And then you get a line drive, it gets, railed into the first base set of stands there, the lower level, and somebody gets hit. Okay, I mean, it even says on the ticket in big bold letters, beware of flying objects.
Or fractured hands trying to catch a fastball with your bare hand instead of a glove.
I've done that. Didn't feel good. I had a buddy of mine catch a bat.
Damn, a bat went swinging in the crowd, huh?
It was a Cardinals game. It was 3-4. It was the year before they put the nets up. So what's that, 3-4 years ago? And Brendan Donovan just launched one into the stands.
It was about after COVID that they started the nets.
Yeah, Brendan Donovan launched one into the stands, and he came up and just caught it out of midair. Like, it's pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what's impressive. Even though I'm not big on WWE going to Saudi within the last decade, but I'll give them creds. They know how to make a show entertaining with this stadium that supposedly they took 5 weeks to build, and it just looks like a state-of-the-art facility. And even the setup and everything with the skyline in the background just makes me, even though I despise Saudi, I'm very hyped to see the fireworks and the drones and everything they want to can out top American stadium shows with wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, I saw a little bit of behind the scenes stuff that Triple H did yesterday and that kind of deal. And it looks pretty cool. And if what we've seen in these time lapses and that are legit, the construction crews and all that did a hell of a job getting this thing put together in like 5 weeks.
Yeah. Americans take them years to build a stadium.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that I was hearing though was that they were literally working 24/7. They had the big, boom lights and all that kind of stuff, which, if you're working somewhere and you do that 24 in the United States, you're going to have people squawking about the lights coming in their bedroom window and all that kind of craziness. But yeah, man, I was impressed with that. I really was. That they got, because when I first looked at it, I was like, they're really going to have this thing finished? And I'm sure I wasn't the only one.
Well, I was wondering, like, they've got like 6 stadiums in that city, and I'm like, you could not host it in one of those. And then with Riyadh season, I've read everything was booked that weekend because Riyadh season, they go above and beyond with events and festivals and concerts and entertainment. Literally every stadium was booked. Even that brand new one they just built, the indoor one, the indoor soccer stadium that could seat about 30,000 that they used for Night of Champions last year, it was booked. And that's where I kept thinking the Rumble was going to be. But when I kept seeing King Abdullah Financial District, and then all I could see is like downtown Riyadh. And I'm like, wait, they're having it in the city limit? And I was concerned. I'm like, this is going to be hectic. Like, there's no way you could pull a Rumble like this. But when I look back at when UFC went to Riyadh, one time they built a stadium in the middle of the district, and it looked like, holy cow, like, what is this? This is not what I was expecting to see. And they did the exact same thing for WWE, and I'm actually all aboard with that. But if you're going to do WrestleMania in Riyadh next year, have it in one of them stadiums you already have. I'm pretty sure you got something lined up with that. But I'm gonna put everything aside. I'm ready to see what happens in a couple hours.
Well, and I'm curious because I've heard rumors that Riyadh is putting in for the Olympics, the Summer Olympics.
Oh,
And part of the deal to get the Olympics is that you have to have a certain number of facilities to hold events in your city. And that may be part of why they're building all these stadiums too, is to be able to accommodate the Summer Olympics.
well, I don't know how they're gonna
Just a
pull that
rumor.
off. Yeah, but I don't know how they're gonna pull that off because over the years, I don't know how long it took for female talent to finally go wrestle over there because if you're a woman, I don't like to get political and stuff on streams, but if you're a woman in Saudi Arabia, you basically have no freedom. You can't vote, you can't drive, you can't walk the streets on your own. You have to be escorted by a male and you can't show a lot of skin. Like you have to be fully covered. And I've been seeing the jokes over the years like, the women's Royal Rumble, all 30 women are going to look like Power Rangers in their full body suits wrestling. And you're going to bring the summer games. How are you going to do a swim meet for the women? You're going to have them dress in full leotards and swim, or track? Like you're gonna have track meets? How the women gonna run track or do like the pole vaults, the high jumps, or
Yeah. I mean, you have some of the athletes that wear those full body aerodynamic type suits, but not everybody does, and it's a complete option. You're right. If they go to Saudi, they're going to have to do that. The ladies just started being able to wrestle out there 3-4 years ago. Um, and actually, here's a little trivia for you. The first match that they had out there with the women was Natalia and
is it
Shayna
Lacey?
Baszler.
Oh, Shayna Bay. I knew it was Natalia, but I don't know why I thought it was Lacey Evans.
That was the second one.
It
That
was the
was the
second
next
one.
time they went out there. Yeah. Yeah, that was the next time they went out there. But yeah, so I mean, you sit there and you think about it, it's like, good grief. You're right. I mean, the head can be exposed, the hands can be exposed, and I think that's it. Because like you see them and they're in the full body, and um, even some of the girls that wear the shorter boots and that they wear the full length. There's no legs showing, no anything. It's just head and hands.
Well, it'll probably be, if Saudi does get it, it'll probably be like what, 8 to 10 years if they host it, because we know who's hosting it next.
Oh, minimum.
Us.
Minimum. Yeah, LA's got it
Yeah.
in 2028.
Yeah.
We have the
And
Winter Olympics starting this coming week.
Yeah, in I think Italy's hosting it because I've been
It
seeing that
is.
logo on Peacock, the ring logo, the Olympic rings on Peacock,
Mhm.
and we're hosting FIFA in 2020. Well, North America is, but majority of the matchups are going to be played in the U.S.
Yeah. Yeah, and see, my
including.
daughter is in the Air Force. She's stationed in Italy. So I'm really hoping that she'll get the chance to experience at least some of it while they're there.
Isn't Snoop Dogg supposed to be like coaching one of the like women's sports, or be like a mentor or something like that?
Softball.
Softball. Well, I've seen him get involved in football and basketball. Softball, okay. All right. And swim. I've
Mhm.
seen him get involved in swimming or diving or something from the
Yeah.
last time they had the
No.
Olympics a couple years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a excuse me, he's a big baseball softball guy.
I'm pretty sure. Let me guess. I'm pretty sure he's a Dodgers fan, being from LA.
Uh well, no, I think he's if I remember right, his baseball allegiance is the Giants.
Oh,
He's a
San
huge
Francisco
Steelers
Giant.
guy when it comes to football. He's a huge
Yeah.
Steelers guy when it comes to football, but I think if I remember right, he's a Giants fan. I can look it up. Um, but see, the next Summer Olympics are in Brisbane, Australia. That'll be pretty cool too.
Oh yeah. Well, I've seen him rep other NFL teams outside of Steelers. I've seen him rep Steelers, Rams, maybe the Raiders.
Yeah, yeah. But his team, and he makes it crystal clear. His team is the Steelers.
Yep, just like his NBA team is the Lakers.
Let's see.
While you look that up, I got a few Rumble questions for you because we're
Sure.
Well, first off, you said there might be a fifth match. What? Tell me
By the
something
way,
I
it's
don't
the
know.
Brewers. From what I have read, if time works the right way, we could see Jade Cargill, Jordan Grace.
Okay, I was about to look and see if she was not in the Rumble match or not. But hey, there's some people that have done both.
They both are.
Oh, so Jade's pulling a Brock Lesnar. She's gonna go in the Rumble as a champion.
If I remember correctly, I have the list here. Hold on. Of who all's in. Because they only have 18 women announced and 14 guys. Women, you got Rhea, Becky, Liv, Charlotte, Io, Bailey, Asuka, Roxanne Perez, which has a question mark next to it because she got hurt last night. Nia Jax, Chelsea Green, Julia, Alexa Bliss, Lyra Valkyria, Raquel Rodriguez, Kairi Sane, Jordan Grace, Lash Legend, and Maxine Dupree. I bet you $1 million Natalia's in it.
Oh yeah, she'll be in it.
You're probably going to see Nikki Bella in it. Wouldn't be surprised to see Tiffany Stratton come back. You know, she hasn't been around for a while. Probably Trish will be in it. You're probably going to end up with some more of the NXT ladies in there. Not sure why. Because there's really, you may get like a JC Jane in there or a Izzy was it Izzy Dane? That kind of thing. I don't know about any though major surprises that I could think of on the women's side. Can you?
Women's side, the only one I can think of, if she's fully clear. A lot of people think we could see a Bianca Belair return and she can win her second and go challenge Jade. That's the only one I've heard from women.
I have heard that. Like I say, I wouldn't be surprised if Tiffany Stratton comes back. Because she's just been off. It's not that she's been off hurt. She's just been off. And Nikki was doing her thing, and then she's been away for a couple of weeks, but I wouldn't be surprised if she's there. Natty has just started getting back into things and that kind of deal, and they're trying to work that program with her and Maxine. So, I wouldn't, again, Natty's not on the list of names that are already confirmed, but there's 12 women possible to put on that list. They'd be stupid to not put Natalya in there.
Plus, they're trying to give Natalya this big push because she's already a star in AAA. And I saw a post on X she posted. It's like she pissed standing on a tombstone with her old name. I think it was they had Natty Natalya Neidhart, and now she's just going, or just Natalya. Now she's going by. I think she's going by Natty Neidhart from now on.
She is. She's been doing a lot of shoot fighting too, and doing very well with it. And yeah, but she's kind of taking that persona into WWE. So yeah, I mean, obviously we've got Women's Rumble, Men's Rumble, Sammy and Drew, and Gunther and AJ. That's the 4 that they're saying. But I had heard that if there is time, that we could see a Jordan Grace and Jade Cargill.
I'd be down for that. So, you ain't even got to wait till WrestleMania for that one.
Yeah. It would be. I mean, that's kind of the thing that they're pushing right now is those two. So, but we'll see. But, they always kick the thing off at the Women's Rumble, though.
Oh yeah, they're definitely not going to they've let the women close out their first Rumble they've ever done, but over the years, the men have been doing it if it wasn't a title match. But Saudi, oh yeah, they're definitely not closing this year, but then in Saudi. But so yeah, when it comes to the Rumble, I said I have a couple. I always like to ask these over the years when it comes to Rumble season,
Sure.
but I got a few lined up. Let me
All right.
let me get them out because I had them in some particular order, but I just want to make sure I don't miss any. First off, give me your So we've already had like over 30 plus Royal Rumble matches over the years, but give me like your top 5 favorite Royal Rumble winners.
Royal Rumble winners.
Yeah.
Um, this is going to be a little controversial on this one, but I liked when Big John Studd won it.
Okay.
I don't think they did enough with him because he could have really, as bad a shape as Andre was in, Stud was in really good shape for a lot of that time, and he could have been that monster giant to just dominate. But they didn't want to jack with old Terry and mess with him. But yeah, Stud definitely. The year Cena or the year Triple H won it after he came back from the injury,
Mm-hmm.
I thought was pretty cool. Um, the dual year with Luger and Brett,
Yeah.
where they both went over the top rope together and hit the floor at the same time. Um, that was cool. What it led to was a train wreck, but that was cool. The way they executed the WrestleMania deal was an absolute disaster, though. I I guess I would have to also say the first one Sean won, where
Where
he
he
had
entered
this,
number
where
one.
he got thrown over, skinned the cat, came back and threw. I think it was Davy Boy over. Um, I think it was Davy Boy he eliminated at the end. Um, but that one. Um, and I guess my last one. I guess my last one would probably be the first one that Cody won. That was just a really good Rumble, start to finish.
Okay. You're talking about the one where he came back from injury or the year he finished his story in 24?
No, 23.
Okay, so the one in San Antonio. I was at that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a fun hell of a night.
Yeah, that Rumble just seemed really good start to finish.
Yeah, it was a great Rumble. So for me, my top 5, uh number 1, I'm going to say Rey Mysterio because he did it for Eddie. Like that Rumble was so special from start to finish. But Ray winning it for Eddie was a special moment. 2, I'm going to say 2, I'll say one of the greatest Royal Rumble performer of all. I'll say Stone Cold Steve Austin, a guy who can do it 3 times. The first year he won it was a bit surprising. I say that just the way people reacted, but it's like when he won it in '98, we knew he was the guy. And then 2001, when he won it, the only time they came to New Orleans, and he won it after coming back from neck issues and getting run over by the car with Rikishi in story mode. That was a special moment. And then to get another Rock Austin matchup, Rock, I'll put that Rock up there because it's like, oh, they picked the right time for him to win it whenever Austin was away. Undertaker was out with an injury. Triple H was the biggest heel of the company. The Rock was the biggest face in the company at the time. And you did it in Madison Square Garden, but it led to some controversial issues with the Big Show. So I'll put Rock up there for 3. 4, I'm gonna probably go with even though it took a while for it to happen, I'm gonna have to put Seth Rollins up there. I mean, the year he won it, it
Okay.
was like you hit it at the right time for him to win it. Like he could have won it in 2018, but they didn't pull the trigger there. They waited the following year. So I'll put him up there for that. And then fifth, I'm gonna have to say I'm stuck with either John Cena or Drew McIntyre because it's like when Drew won it, they did it at the right time. It was very we were predicting he needed to be the guy, and they listened to us right before the world shut down. And when he made that statement eliminating Brock, I was like, okay, he's the guy to win it. He has to. And sure enough, they shipped the rocket on him and he blasted off. But like John Cena, it was that return, and I'll get to more about it in a bit. But I could just say Cena as an honorable mention.
Sure.
Now, going from the best, you can name as many as you want, but I know there's at least four because that's all I've seen was four names. Give me, in your opinion, the worst Royal Rumble winners of all time.
The worst Rumble winners?
Worst.
Ooh. Let me think about this one for a minute. Man, I hate to do it because he's a super nice guy and I've interviewed him a lot of times. Jim Duggan.
Oh, back when it was just a gimmick match, but it never meant nothing. But okay, I understand.
Yeah, right, but he won the first one.
He won the first one. Yes, he did. That's mainly
He won the
that's
first
all
one.
he. And usually, when you look back at his career, a lot of people that's the only thing they're going to bring up. They're like, "Oh, he won the first ever Royal Rumble match." Never brought up that he was a former Intercontinental Champion or U.S. Champ or anything like that.
Right. Vince was really bad when he won it. Man. I was never a fan of Alberto Del Rio, so I'll say him. Um, wow.
I'm not going to say her name
Can I
yet, but
really can I really make people mad and say Hogan?
You won't make me mad. I mean, I like Hogan. I got my love. I still got my love for Hogan and the stuff he did. You know, I'm not gonna. I mean, I'll question about it, but I mean, hey, he was WWE champion. Like I said, until 1993, the Rumble match was just a gimmick match, just to win. It never meant nothing. So Hogan winning it didn't really mean nothing. It's just another victory to add to his legendary resume.
Yeah, and I mean my thing. I was never a Hogan guy. You and I have talked about this before. I was never a Hogan guy. I thought it was completely 100%. You knew there was no belief. You didn't believe in Hulk Hogan. You know, there were guys that were out there that you believed. You know, when Double A said what he was saying, you believed it. When Ric Flair said what he was saying, you would believe it. Hulk Hogan was a blowhard. So yeah, I'd put Hogan on that list.
I'm just glad you never said Jey Uso. A lot of people
So
still been
who?
saying. I'm glad you never said Jey Uso.
No, I thought the Uso push last year was fine. Or
Me too.
yeah, last year.
But a lot of people were
Didn't have a
saying, "Oh,
problem with it."
But everybody was like, "Oh, he was the worst winner since Del Rio." I said, "No, I can name someone worse than that." So, I'm gonna
Hey,
throw. I got a couple, but I'm gonna throw a female in this one because I have a
okay.
female, which I never. I know I'm not leaving the female winners behind, but if I had to say the best female winner, go back to the other question, I'm gonna say Becky Lynch. That was probably my favorite women's Rumble match. One of them was the year she won and the year Rhea Ripley won because I was at that one. Those were two good Rumbles. But the
Gotcha.
worst women's Rumble I can recall was Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
Which that
Yeah.
Rumble, that both of them Rumble matches were not good. Even though I got nothing against Brock Lesnar, but the second time he won it was pointless. But they were trying to like unify the belt, so like he just did it to challenge Roman while he went around and turned around and went to Saudi Arabia and won the WWE title. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll put Brock's second win was the worst. You got to throw Del Rio in there. Like, you got to throw him in there, and you got to throw Mr. McMahon, because that one was kind of pointless. It's just for Austin to take it from him at St. Valentine's Day Massacre in that cage match. You should have had Austin winning, and Austin could have three-peated. No one ever three-peated a Rumble. And Austin could have been a four-time winner, to be honest. But that's Vince.
And by the way, there is one that I forgot when we were talking about the best ones, and that's Flair.
Oh, I got a question about that. You know, you might know where I'm going to it, but funniest Rumble moments. It could be anything from the match to whatever. And the fact that you brought that up, bringing Flair's victory up, that led to my next question.
Okay.
Now you might say his iconic speech, like with a tear in my eye. No, that's not funny. That was actually a historic, like, post interview.
Oh yeah.
It was what happened after the interview. Mean Gene is just getting ready to wrap up and talk with him, and all of a sudden he turns around and hollers, "Put that cigarette out."
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite Royal Rumble moment of all time. Mean Gene, put that cigarette out.
Yeah.
That was funnier than the Santino shit.
I was going to say the Santino stuff was always pretty funny. Pete Rose was good. When Kane chokeslammed him, you know. If we include the greatest Royal Rumble, Titus O'Neil sliding into second base under the ring would count.
That's just funny. I'd count that as like one of the funniest moments in general of the entire company.
I'll tell you what, though, I don't think a lot of people understand how close he came to dying that day.
Who?
Titus O'Neil. If he slides about 2 feet to the right, his head goes right into the support for the ring.
You could have knocked the wind out of him.
No, he'd have gone head first into the support in the ring, the metal support that holds the ring up. There would have been no knocking the wind out of him.
It imploded and it smashed him.
It would have busted his head open. It'd have busted his skull, especially as fast as he would, because you know he had some speed built up. But yeah. By the way, before we get into this any further, as far as I know, it's supposed to be Ladies Rumble, AJ Gunther, Sammy and Drew, and then the men's title.
If they add Jade and Jordan, they might be in the middle.
Yeah, Jade and Jordan are probably in the middle. But you were talking about funny moments. The Pat McAfee one was pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Where he came from the commentary desk, got into the ring, and then went, "Yeah, I don't think so," and kind of backed himself out.
Who was that stared him down? Was it Brock Lesnar or something? And he was just like, nah. He went over. He pulled a Drew Carey, like went over the rope and then just jumped off the apron.
Yeah. The first time, and I thought it was funny, but it was freaking brilliant. The first time Kofi Kingston got thrown out, landed on the announce desk, grabbed, I think it was Michael Cole's chair.
JBL's
chair.
And
bounced himself back to the apron and got back into the ring. That was it was funny and brilliant at the same time.
I've always said, why didn't he just slide? Like, I could have got this chair. I could have pushed with my foot against the announce table and slid to the apron, but I get he wanted to do something entertaining.
Yeah. I mean, there's one, I don't know if it's funny or stupid. You do realize Mil Mascaras has never been eliminated from the 93 Rumble, right?
I thought it was 97 when CMLL got involved.
I'm sorry.
In the Alamo.
Yeah, 97.
He did dive off the top turnbuckle,
Yeah, but
which that was a dumb
if you watch
elimination, by
before
the way.
that, well, but if you watch before that, he didn't go over the top rope. He went between the second and the third rope, climbed up, and then flew onto Pieroth. He never went over the top rope. So he's technically never really been eliminated. Um, that was a stupid. It wasn't necessarily funny. It was just stupid.
I remember
Because he didn't
watching
want
that
to do the
Rumble.
job.
Yeah, I remember watching that Rumble where they did a crossover. They did their like Forbidden Door back in the day when they partnered with CMLL, and I think there wasn't there like another Lucha Libre promotion they promoted with, or it was just CMLL at the time.
I think
Wasn't
it was just
AAA.
CMLL at that one. Yeah, I think it was just CMLL on that one. But yeah, I mean, those are the ones that really kind of stick out to me. I mean, of course, the Santino thing. I mean, everybody knows that. But yeah, that's pretty much.
Which Santino moment where he got eliminated in 1 second, or
Oh yeah,
was
where he comes in the ring and where he comes into the ring and just automatically gets knocked out.
Yeah, he passed up
Oh, the
War
other
Lord.
one, and I just thought about it. The other one, Maven drop kicking the Undertaker and knocking him out.
I have seen so many like meme videos of that. They said this is going to be Kit Wilson eliminating Brock Lesnar, and I'm like, that would be hysterically awesome, but it's not going to happen. I know. I love the push they're giving Kit Wilson in his theme song, but no, if that were to happen, Brock's going to freaking German suplex him out of the ring. He's going to
Oh,
fly.
Brock will suplex everybody in sight if that happens. He'll be so mad.
Speaking of that, I want to see Brock and Oba get some time in the ring together if they cross paths, because Oba's going to make his Rumble debut tonight or today.
That one will be interesting, but that's not the one I want to see. I want to see Brock and Gunther.
Oh shit! Wait, I got a prediction here. Since he's retiring people,
I think that's
Gunther,
WrestleMania.
I think it's SummerSlam because Gunther's in SummerSlam's in Minneapolis.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
I think they should have did Gunther and AJ at WrestleMania because I wanted to have AJ at least have one more WrestleMania match. But
yeah.
But yeah, Gunther and Brock, oh my god, that would feed families.
Those guys are going to beat the living dog out of each other. Legitimately.
Why don't we run it twice? Why don't we run it back? Let them fight at Mania and let them fight it. So let Brock beat him at WrestleMania and then let him retire Brock at SummerSlam.
Why not?
Because I don't know who I don't see him retiring anyone at WrestleMania. I mean, let's let him get a ticket to Suplex City before he sends Brock in the sunset.
How ironic would it be if Gunther did do that, because Lesnar's the one that put the 1 in 21 and 1.
Yep.
And then have Gunther take Lesnar out at WrestleMania.
Yeah. By the way, going back to
that
Santino
might have some legs.
By the way, back to the Santino part, I said that's like what you thought. What was funnier, the 1 second elimination or the dream match that's too big for WrestleMania? Cobra and Mr. Sacco going at it in 2012.
No, the 1 second. The one other one, and this is the last one that I've got off my head, is when Ron Killings R-Truth comes jetting down, jumps up on the apron, and grabs the tag rope and acts like it's a tag match.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the ladder. I thought you were going to say the ladder.
Oh, the ladder was good. The tag match was better, though.
What year was that? Was better. Was that last year or the year before?
Now you're going to get me a lie. I don't remember. I think it was last year, but I could be wrong. But that was tremendous. That was just absolutely tremendous. Truth is I liked Truth when he was in TNA, all the way back to there. Whenever he was in there, when they were first getting started doing those weekly pay-per-views and all that, and he was Ron the Truth Killings. and was the NWA champion and was wrestling a very young AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels and guys like, James Storm and Chris Harris and Elix Skipper and Jeff Jarrett and guys like that. Truth's been tremendous his whole career, and doesn't get near the accolades that he should get. He's been kind of a comedy thing the whole time in WWE, but the dude can wrestle.
Oh yeah, and if you've watched season 2 of Unreal, a lot. First off, Road Dogg is a crappy, like, producer, head of writing for SmackDown, all that. He sucks at that. But that whole stuff with R-Truth getting released, where he turned around and said he got fired. That's on Triple H for not like renegotiating on time, and then they just were like, okay, we're not going to negotiate with him. We're just going to release him. But he turned around and said he got fired, which that was a middle finger to us. Like, come on, Paul. Like, you already got a crappy former faction member running your B show, and then you go pull this off. Like, Unreal can let some damn cats out the bag, but I will say I did enjoy them keeping the secrecy of Seth Rollins' fake injury, but then it turned around and bit him in the ass when he really got hurt after that. But I did enjoy what Paul Heyman had to say, saying how he's old school and he hates this idea. And
I agree with Paul Heyman 1,000%. I hate that show.
And you broke kayfabe 40 years ago. You were beaten to death in the locker room because that's how they made their money and everything. That's how they made their living.
Yep. Punk said the same thing. He did a podcast, and I think it was Ariel Awani that he was on, and he said the same thing. He said, when I broke in 30 years ago, if someone would have done that kind of stuff, they would have been beaten to a pulp in the shower by every guy on the roster. He said, I hate that show, and I do everything I can to avoid being a part of it.
I don't like it either, but I'm gonna watch it.
I probably will, but I'd rather not.
Have you ever watched the first season?
Yeah. And I was just like, okay, this is not good. This is just not good.
And then they're gonna have more coming in the summer, because after the season finale of season 2, it closed out with new episodes coming in the summer of 2026.
Yeah, I mean, watching the WWE Untold things, those are a little different. Because especially, and I'll use the AJ one as the example, the whole deal about how secretive they were about him being there until right before the Rumble match. It wasn't even that he was running around the back before the, during the event and all that kind of stuff. He did not come into that building until right before the match started. He got dressed and all that stuff in his bus.
Mm-hmm.
And then they snuck him in through the back. And the next thing you know, he's standing in Gorilla. Which is, I think, tremendous, and also says a lot more about him because he went out there cold. He went out there with nobody knowing anything. And there you go. He was one of the final 4 in his first Rumble and came in number 3. And that place blew. When his music hit, that place shook. They were yelling so loud.
I should have threw that as a question, but I didn't know another big debut in the Rumble. But I think everyone I've talked to that said, what was your favorite Rumble debut? Everybody said AJ Styles.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I mean, look behind me. I mean, AJ is my guy. I've had very few guys that I just put them head and shoulders above everybody else. When I was growing up, my boy Kerry Von Erich, Bruiser Brody, and then Rob Van Dam. I was a huge RVD guy. I was, and this is going to sound really kind of crazy. I was a huge Kurt Hennig guy.
Hey,
especially as Mr.
he's
Perfect. But
good.
I was a huge Kurt Hennig guy. And then AJ, and AJ's been my guy for a really long time. The only other guy that I've really kind of had that kind of attitude with is Double A. I was always a big Arn Anderson guy. Um, you know, I realize it's not the Hogan Savage Flair, the stereo, Cena, that kind of thing. I okay, but
You
AJ's my guy. You know,
you well, you caught Kurt Hennig at the perfect time when you saw him as Mr. Perfect, or you
well,
may have
I
saw him
saw him
in his.
before that.
You saw him in
I'm old
AWA
enough.
in Calgary.
I'm old enough to see him wrestle in AWA with his tag team partner, a guy named Big Scott Hall, when they won the AWA Tag Team Championships. And I mean, you have greener than grass Scott Hall and not much greener than grass Kurt Hennig. And those guys were good then. And then, of course, to see what they became and all that. If the injuries don't mess up Kurt Hennig and if things don't get Scott Hall, man, those guys they could have owned the world.
Well, I caught Kurt during a weird time. Like when I first saw Kurt Hennig, I saw him in the NWO, and then he jumped to the West Texas Rednecks.
Oh no.
And
Yeah.
he's not even
That was
he's from Minnesota. He's not even. I get Barry Windham, Bobby Duncombe Jr. Yes, they're from Texas. Kurt Hennig from Minnesota.
yeah, and see that was after he had already gotten hurt. His back was shot. He couldn't get in that ring if he wanted to. And one of the biggest things one of the coolest things I ever saw, and then I thought about it for a minute and was like, this is useless. When Double A gave his spot in the Four Horsemen to Kurt Hennig,
Didn't
I was
make
like,
sense.
okay. And then I thought about it for a minute and went, wait a minute, his back is not going to let him wrestle. I don't understand how this is even going to work. So,
Well,
but
I got one more question
yes,
before we
sir.
get to predictions. Oh, by the way, I just put on ESPN and they're already interviewing Triple H on
Oh
Sports
yeah,
Center. And I got it on
yeah.
mute
They're
because I
doing.
really, yeah, they're really treating it like it's like
That's what
if
they
they could,
should be doing.
they should have did this 40 years ago when they had Hogan and all them. Imagine if ESPN would have broadcasted Hogan on ESPN or anything like that, or Piper, or Warrior, or Macho Man, or them guys, or even they're during the imagine the Attitude Era on ESPN.
Yeah.
That'd have been
The
something.
Attitude Era might have had a better shot because then ESPN was actually something. The Hogan era, ESPN was basically still in its infancy. I mean, it came into existence in '79. It was only 5 years old when Hulkamania hit. They didn't even have, they didn't really have any major sports going on at that point in time. They didn't have an NFL contract or anything like that. The Attitude Era, I mean, I know they would occasionally they did they mentioned like when Owen Hart died and that kind of stuff, but yeah, you're right. I think it could have been pretty pretty cool, pretty interesting, but you know, I'm one of those guys that still longs for the days of it's real to me, damn it. You know.
So yeah, well, they're already having camera technical difficulties in Saudi with Sports Center. Triple H keeps like cutting off, so I paused it. Not surprised. One more question before we get to predictions. Most shocking Rumble return. It could be from an injury. It could be from leaving the company and coming back. Uh, Something like that. Mainly, that's your only two
Wow.
options. But what was your big shocking Rumble return of all time?
Um, Most shocking return. Um, well, that's a good one. I
Why you
would
think?
probably, yeah, go ahead and do yours.
Well, I'm stuck on two, and I'm explain. I'm gonna try to
Okay.
explain as quick as I can. For years and years, I've said John Cena because when he tore his pec, we were thinking, oh my God, he's going to be out for like 9 months. And he comes back in 3. And we were like, holy shit, how do you manage to pull that off? Unless it was a scripted injury with freaking Unreal these days. But that was a shock to me. That was a shock to everybody. But maybe that was a work. I haven't figured that part out yet. I'm still kind of investigating that. But nothing's going to out top Edge's return in 2020. A guy who had to retire in 2011 when he injured his neck. We never been seen again. I mean, he popped in 2011 when Christian was world champion. He got inducted in the Hall of Fame in 2012, but it was like after 2012, we never really saw him again, unless if it was like a video package pop in or something like that. Or when Beth Phoenix got inducted in the Hall of Fame, he was just in the crowd as supporting his wife. No, I
Right.
was supposed to be at that Rumble in Houston in 2020. I had a ticket for it and everything, but my dad had a stroke, almost lost him. I had to cancel,
Hmm.
and it hurt. So I stayed home, and then it really hurt because I was like, it's at Minute Maid Park. Well, now it's Dyken Park. It's where the Astros play ball. It's like, imagine watching a wrestling show at my ballpark. But when Edge came out, I like lost it. Like I broke down because I was like, I
Yeah.
was supposed to be there for that. No one thought he was going to come back, and you saw it in his face. Like he got emotional and broke down during his entrance.
Yeah.
Like you never thought he'd be back, and it was like it was hush because the only surprise we knew we were getting that night was MVP because someone leaked his jumbotron video getting tested across the glass that shifts to the side when they open the roof of Minute Maid Park off of I-10. Someone caught that and they were like, "Oh, we're getting MVP's return in the Rumble," but
Yeah.
nope, we were lucky. They were lucky to not get Edges spoiled, and one of the most shocking comebacks of all, which only had him in WWE for like a couple years before he jumped to AEW. But he's still going on. I think he's almost 50 now, and he's still wrestling like he's in his prime. But yeah, Edge in 2020 for me, that was the most shocking return in the Rumble I've ever seen.
Gotcha. Ah, I mean, I was surprised when Mickey James came back when she was TNA champion. But can I give you one that was, I believe, the same WrestleMania or same Royal Rumble as Cena's return? What about
Yeah.
Roddy Piper?
Piper and Snuka back to back in '08.
Because I mean, granted, Piper was not in the best shape, but that place came unglued when
They
he
came
came
up.
out.
I loved how they all
Um,
like I love how they all let them have the ring to themselves. Like they were all like laid out in the corner watching another MSG moment with them too.
yeah, I mean, the only other one that I could really think of might be, and there was a lot of hype around it, was Alexa Bliss.
From last year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
that was a loud pop she got.
but if I really had to like rank those, I'd say Mickey James coming in as a TNA champion, and then Jordan Grace doing it last year.
And Joe Hendry
But
as TNA World Champion too.
right. But yeah, that's where I'd go with it.
Hell yeah. Well, this should be quick. We'll go ahead and predict these 4 matches, but if by some shocker they add a fifth and we get Jade versus Jordan for the women's title, I would just say Jade retains if that match happens.
I would imagine so. Yeah. I mean, I think they're working on a long term type thing with those two. Um, so yeah, I would imagine it's going to be a Jade win, but not the last time we see those two together.
Yeah. Well, we'll start with this one because this is very questionable, but a lot of people are already calling it now. But AJ Styles versus Gunther. If AJ loses, he will be forced to retire from in-ring competition. It's a career-threatening match. Does AJ keep the retirement tour going, or does Gunther add another legend to his resume of retiring?
As much, and we just got done talking about my regards for AJ. I think he's done. I think Gunther beats him. If you go back to a lot of the stuff that he's been able to do in the last, say, 6 or 8 months, winning the tag titles with Dragon Lee to become a Grand Slam champion.
Well, I thought he won it. He won it with Omos. I thought to be a Grand Slam.
Well, that's true. It might have been to be a 2-time, but
Okay.
he won the title with Dragon Lee. He had the New Japan deal where they had their match when they had the matches when they were in Japan, and he got to get his accolades in Japan from when he was a member of the Bullet Club or leader of the Bullet Club. He had his match with Cena. He had his match with Shinsuke Nakamura a couple weeks ago, and they kind of revisited their New Japan match from about 10 years ago.
That was a great match.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, those two guys are ridiculously good. They have completely fumbled the ball on Shinsuke Nakamura. If it was,
Yes,
and
they
I know
did.
what the problem is. I know what the problem is. It's the language. But do what they're doing with Io Sky. Put him with somebody. Put him with somebody that can talk. And that's why I say I think AJ has made it publicly clear that 2026 was going to be his last year. And I think he wants to go out in a non-traditional way. He could always say, yeah, WrestleMania is going to be my last. Will I be pulling for him to win? Of course. But I just have this feeling that to keep Gunther in that career killer mode, that somehow, some way, Gunther's going to beat him.
He gives me Randy Orton vibes when he was the legend killer. Now he's like the career killer. But it's fitting. Yeah. AJ Styles made his WWE debut 10 years ago at the Rumble, and 10 years later, he's on the verge of retiring, not just from WWE, but in ring. His work with Nakamura, it's like nothing's going to out-top their Wrestle Kingdom match. That was like hands down. WrestleMania disappointed me because like I was there for it. When I said this is the match I want to see.
But he also holds one other accolade, Haas. Remember this. He is also the Undertaker's final opponent.
Yep. Which I wish it could have happened in front of fans instead of being a cinematic match. Which I still say to this day, like, if the pandemic wouldn't have happened, I believe WrestleMania 36 would have been a hell of a WrestleMania. Drew, if we'd have had a crowd, imagine Drew McIntyre winning his first WWE title and conquering the Beast in front of a crowd. Imagine Taker and AJ in front of a crowd. Imagine Edge's first singles match back after 9 years in front of a crowd versus one of his greatest nemesis in Randy Orton. Imagine the Fiend going over Cena in front of the crowd, or the plan they had for Becky Lynch. She was supposed to come out in an 18-wheeler and all that, and they did that in front of no fans. Kevin Owens jumping off a pirate ship on Seth Rollins. But instead, he did the WrestleMania sign in the warehouse. He was supposed to do it off the pirate ship that people get drunk off of to watch the Buccaneers.
Yeah, and the thing a lot of people don't realize is Taker picked AJ for that match. He's said on many occasions he wanted AJ for that last match, because he knew that was a guy he hadn't wrestled yet that would give him the best match possible.
And we could have got an early start of Roman's 4,000-something day reign as champion instead of in the summer. I think he'd have started that long run if he'd have got to face Goldberg in front of a crowd at Mania. And I think he'd align with Paul Heyman then at WrestleMania instead of in the summer.
Yeah.
Like a lot of stuff got taken away from us because of COVID, and they just scattered it throughout the year.
Yeah, it really did. But I think AJ loses. What about you?
Unfortunately, I mean, I I'm gonna think about you when I see it happen, and like I'm gonna go check you out on X. Like I know it's gonna be emotional for you, but it's to make Gunther even bigger heel than he is already. It's like Gunther's heat is. I feel like it's like maybe not as high as Triple H's was in the Ruthless Aggression era, but it's catching up. He's one of the most hated guys in the company right now, story wise, by the fans.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Cody will be catching up too later with that. Cody just needs to turn heel, get rid of the blonde, go jet black like he did that one time in AEW. But now we got speaking of heels, I will absolutely love this heel. We get Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn for the undisputed WWE Championship.
I'm going out on a limb on this one. As much as I don't think I'm going out on a limb on the first match, I'm going to go out on a limb on this one. And I think I have a method to my madness on this. I think Sammy wins this match. And when he does, watch the people absolutely wet themselves. They are going to go absolutely berserk when one of their guys wins that world championship. Because Sammy he is legitimately from the Middle East. He's from Syria. And I think what ends up happening is he beats Drew, and then Drew takes the title back at Elimination Chamber. That's my if I had the pencil. I'm going out on a limb and say Sammy wins this thing.
Mm-hmm. He was born in Laval, Quebec, Canada, to Syrian migrants who relocated from Homs, which is in what country is this? Syria. In Syria, yeah, in Homs, Syria. So yeah, you kind of hit that right.
He's Syrian.
He's Syrian. He's half Syrian, half Canadian.
Right. But
or maybe he's full Syrian. He just lived in Canada. He just full Syrian, but lived in Canadian soil. So you could kind of consider him a part-time Canadian.
Yeah. I mean, if you've heard the pop that he's gotten whenever they've wrestled in Saudi before, he gets the biggest pop in the building, even bigger than Cody. I mean, he gets an absolute monster. With the way Saudi has WWE wrapped right here around their little finger, I think Sammy beats him and then loses to him and gives it back to him at Elimination Chamber.
There's a possibility, but I'm not going to go too far with it on here. But you know, I have my issues with Sami Zayn personally, but I have before that. You know, I did enjoy him in NXT. You know, I loved his feud with Kevin Owens, and you know even though they made him a transitional champion, NXT champion when he won it, and then he handed it to his buddy Kevin Owens. But there's just they're giving Sammy that big underdog push like they gave Jey Uso. And I see why they hated Jey so much for it, because they're trying to over push him more than ever. Where I don't know how old he is, but I wish they could do something like this with LA Knight. I mean, I know LA Knight's of age, but Sammy, I think, is in his late 30s. So he's not in his 20s, and he's older than me. I think he's almost 40 as well. But
I think the three of them are all right in the same age area. Sammy's 41. I think Kevin Owens is 40. No, he's 41 also. In fact, they're like 2 months apart. And then LA Knight is, I think, 39. No, he's 43.
Mm-hmm.
So they're in the same basic age group, but yeah, I mean they're a little more experienced than.
But it's like I kind of, after he couldn't beat Roman in his hometown at Elimination Chamber a couple years back, I kind of just like gave up on Sami Zayn. I said, like, if you had one moment to put the title on him, it was in Montreal against Roman, but you didn't pull the trigger. So I kind of gave up on him. But I did enjoy the tag team main event they did with the Usos, where him and KO won the tag titles together in the main event of WrestleMania. I did enjoy that, but it's like I'm not going any further with it. But if they end up pulling if they end up putting the rocket on Sammy, I think they're gonna do it next year because WrestleMania is in Saudi. I feel like he'll either win the Rumble next year or win Elimination Chamber to go main event WrestleMania in Saudi, and that's if they put the title on him then. I feel like if they do put the title on him, it will be at next year's Mania in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And here's one more prediction I'm going to throw in here. But I got Drew McIntyre retaining because Drew McIntyre is one of them. He's my guy. I got Scottish descent. I love Drew McIntyre. Only thing I don't agree with him is I'm a Celtic guy. He's Rangers. But I've met Drew. He's a great guy. He just does so much better as a heel than a babyface. I loved his babyface in 2020 against Brock, but when his hair's jet black and his beard grows out and it's jet black, he's an asshole. And I love that version of McIntyre. Like 2019 Drew was amazing. Yeah. They should have put the WWE title on him a year prior. When he was a heel in NXT, when he had the NXT title feud with Andrade, that was golden, Drew McIntyre. Like, this was the Drew Vince was talking about when he signed him in 2009. Like, there was going to be a big mega star, and it formed in 2018. You can throw the 3MB nonsense away. You can throw they should have kept Broken Dreams, but I do like the little pipe bomb rock version theme he got too. But here, one more thing before we predict the 2 Rumble matches. I'm calling it now. Next year is 40 years of the Royal Rumble, and it's crazy how every 10 years, when they celebrate 10 year, 20 year, 30 year, they were going to San Antonio. 2 out of the 3 they were in the Alamo Dome. I felt like if they wouldn't have went in 2023, they probably would have went back to the Alamo Dome and for their 40-year anniversary. No, I think they go bigger. I think they go to AT&T Stadium in 2027 for their 40th Royal Rumble. Bigger crowd, bigger year, all of 40 years, all that nonsense.
Possible.
Imagine
I don't know. I mean, they're talking about making Royal Rumble a 2-day event, and I'm just like, why?
They don't need to be. Why? I'd rather be a one night. Let's just have 2 Rumble matches in one night and get it over with.
I don't think WrestleMania should be 2 nights.
I'm good. I'm okay with it now because I want as many people as possible to have a WrestleMania match with the stacked roster they have. But they kind of went the New Japan route. Now, I don't know if they would have went 2 nights if the pandemic didn't happen. You think they'd have went one night or they'd have switched it to 2? Because remember, the year before, WrestleMania 35 was freaking 7 hours total if you counted a 2-hour kickoff show.
I understand. But the thing is, I mean, if it was one 5-hour show, that's one thing. Think about how many filler matches there are between those 2 nights that really aren't WrestleMania quality. And like you were saying, the size of the roster and all that, that's one thing. That's why there's the Royal Rumble. That's so you can get your guys in there and all that. But, I mean, WrestleMania, you shouldn't have more than, 8 or 10 matches. And yes, there's going to be a lot of guys that aren't going to get on there, but okay, it's kind of like the sports halls of fame. You don't want to water it down, and it seems like there's like 3 or 4 matches every year at WrestleMania that are watered down matches. It's like, okay, we're really excited for this one, or we're really excited for this one, or we're really excited for this one, and this one, why is it here? They could do this on Monday Night Raw. They could do it on SmackDown. But that's just me.
All right, let's go ahead and start with the 30-woman Royal Rumble match. Winner, of course, the usual. Headlines WrestleMania, gets a title shot. Whoever she chooses. So whoever wins can either face Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's title or Stephanie Vaquer for the Women's World Championship. Usually, how I do it when it comes to a match like this, I do the same with Money in the Bank. Give me your main winner and a backup.
Main winner. Main winner, Liv Morgan. Secondary. Io Sky.
I like that. So I'll agree with you on one. Of how close she's been multiple times. She was runner up like 2 times, maybe 3 times, but if they don't put her in a tag title run with Roxanne Perez, unless they do Raquel with Roxanne, if the Judgment Day will break up, I'll say Liv Morgan finally wins one if they don't put her involved, because I still think they're gonna do a 4-way for the women's tag titles: Io and Rhea versus Lyra and Bailey. Another team I forgot who I had that was from Raw I had in mind, and then the other team was going to be the Judgment Day, whether if it was Roxanne and Raquel or Roxanne and Liv Morgan. But I think Liv Morgan wins. My backup, if she comes back, my backup's Bianca Belair.
And I wouldn't be, if she comes back, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, the fourth team. Well, if my fourth team, like I said, I think they're going to do a fatal 4-way at WrestleMania for the tag titles: Rhea and Io versus Lyra and Bailey. Roxanne and either Liv and Raquel of the Judgment Day. One of them will team up with her. The Kabuki Warriors, and you can maybe throw in Charlotte and Alexa, or you could throw in Nia and Lash Legend. They're going to have like a 4-way or a 5-way or something. They're going to involve like 4 or 5 women's tag teams. Do something.
Well, see, it's maybe funny because my dark horse is also Judgment Day. My dark horse is Raquel Rodriguez.
Even though she's getting a title shot Monday night against Valkyrie in a Philadelphia street fight.
It's called insurance.
Insurance policy. Yeah, I like it.
Win or lose, she's still got another world championship. I don't know that I want to see her against Jade.
No, if you're going to put Raquel, I want Raquel versus Valkyrie. If Raquel were to win the Rumble, I'd rather her fight but Stephanie Valkyrie, not Jade.
Right. No, I'm with you.
There's only 2 people I want to fight Jade right now. It's either Jordynne Grace or Bianca Belair if she comes back. Not Charlotte, not Alexa, not Nia, none of them.
And then put Rhea up there.
I think Rhea still stays in the tag. I think she goes in the tag team mode this year. I think
Rhea's another one to have a good match. Rhea could have a good match.
Oh, yeah. Maybe like at a SummerSlam or something down the road, we could get Rhea versus Jade. Like if Rhea switches brands or if they bring Jade to Raw, we could see it happen. Maybe like at SummerSlam or something.
Of course, Rhea could have a good match with a cereal box. So, I mean, it's,
And then we got the men's Royal Rumble. The stack's just coming, but the same thing. Main winner and a backup.
Man, I've been thinking about this one. I really have. And putting all the scenarios in my head. I'm gonna go. I gotta go with my gut. I think Braun Breaker wins this thing. I really do. He's just too freaking good.
Yeah. After they spoiled, he'll be the number 1 entry. But hey, he'll be the 5th person or 6th person to do it.
Well, and he's built that he can go an hour. So
oh yeah.
My next in line. I just hope they don't screw him. I really do. I really hope they don't screw him again if he gets that far. L.A. Knight.
Is he in the Rumble?
He will be.
Because they're already complaining that they don't think Finn Balor's going to be in it. And I think Finn Balor's going to end up getting a title shot down the road, maybe like a Chamber or something. I think they're going to start a Pump Finn feud, unless Finn finds a way to get in. But yes, LA needs that push.
They have only announced 17 men. I would be 100% blown away if LA Knight's not in there. Is
one of them going to be Chris Jericho?
Well, look, as of this morning, he's still on the AEW roster on the webpage. But as it sits right now, the men's Royal Rumble entrants are Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Lesnar, Gunther, Braun Breaker, Jey Uso, Jacob, Logan Paul, Theory, Bronson Reed, Rey Mysterio, who's hurt, Penta, Obafemi, Javon Evans, who's hurt, R-Truth, Solo Sikoa, and Dragon Lee. So you're going to have one or the other. I think that's where Finn gets in. Could Finn win it? Yeah. Do I think he's going to? No. Oh, shoot. My battery's running low.
Well, I ain't going to take long with this. As long as Cody don't win another one. But I don't want Cody winning a third Rumble right now. No, I'm just going to say for right now, Roman Reigns wins it. And now I don't know what they're going to do with him. If they're going to have a third with Cody, or does he actually win it and we get a Roman Punk feud? That's what everybody wants too. So I'll say Roman Reigns, because I do want a Roman Punk feud. I don't want a third Roman Cody match. They're not Austin and Rock. You can't run it 3 times. And back up, I'll say Braun Breaker, even though they spoiled him being the number 1 entry. But hey, he can be. I can see you said he can last an hour with his speed and everything, and he'll be the 5th person to win at number 1. Shawn, Benoit, right. Edge, and Rhea Ripley all won it at number 1. He could be the 5th.
Didn't Ray win his at number 1 too?
He was number 2.
Number 2. That's right. That's right.
But yeah, well, this is going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to have a fun day today, not just watching the Rumble, watching college basketball, watching the NBA, watching UFC 325 tonight. It's going to be at 9 p.m. since they'll be on a Sunday in Australia. So I love that the UFC's on Paramount Plus. So I get to watch 2 shows tonight. But, well, we're about to lose him. He wouldn't be able to give a shout out where you could find him. But if he pops back up, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. You can find me on Big Hoss 337 on X, Instagram, Facebook. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can check out my show on the go every week, usually on Wednesday nights on Driving to the Top Productions, plus YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hopefully, I'll try and give 60 seconds for Rich to come back to find his handles. But if he can't, then we'll just go ahead and wrap it up because we were about done anyway. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy Rumble season. Stay warm. We're about to kick off the road to WrestleMania. Super Bowl's next week. I know everyone's ready for that. Oh, he is out. So I'll just go ahead and wrap this up. Thank y'all. God bless. Stay warm, and we'll catch you guys next time.